The small laundromat glowed softly under flickering fluorescent tubes, the dryers tumbling with a steady hypnotic rhythm. Rain pattered against the plate glass window, turning the parking lot into a mirror of blurred headlights. Rebecca sat on a cracked plastic chair, folding warm towels one by one, the scent of detergent heavy in the humid air. At 47, after her long-term relationship ended 6 months ago, these late weekend evenings had become her quiet ritual, alone with the hum of machines and the weight of starting over. She stacked the last towel, glanced at the clock above the change machine. Nearly 10. She could pack up, drive back to the too-quiet house, pour a glass of wine, and pretend the silence didn't echo. But the rain intensified, drumming harder, and she lingered, watching droplets race down the glass. A man pushed through the door, shaking water from a faded canvas jacket. Early 50s, broad shoulders slightly stooped, carrying 2 overflowing mesh bags. He nodded politely to the empty room, chose the row of washers farthest from her, and began loading clothes with methodical care, separating darks from lights without hurry. Rebecca noticed the way he paused over a worn gray sweater, holding it a moment longer, as if remembering something. Then he closed the lid, added soap, and sat 3 machines down from hers. He pulled a paperback from his pocket, opened it, but didn't read, eyes drifting to the spinning drum instead. Time passed in the soft roar of cycles. Rebecca's dryer buzzed. She moved to unload, arms full of warm sheets. One slipped, unfolding onto the damp floor before she could catch it. She sighed, bent to pick it up. The man stood quietly, walked over, and without a word, lifted the folded half of the sheet from the floor, holding it up so she could gather the rest cleanly. A simple favor, steady hands keeping the fabric off the ground until she tucked it into her basket. Then he returned to his seat as if nothing had happened. Rebecca felt warmth rise in her cheeks. She could have managed alone, always had. Accepting help felt like exposing the cracks she'd been papering over. She almost murmured that she was fine, but the gesture had been so unassuming, so free of expectation, that words felt unnecessary. She nodded instead. He nodded back. His washer finished. He transferred clothes to a dryer, then hesitated, realizing he'd forgotten softener sheets. Rebecca saw it in the brief frown, the glance toward the vending machine with its out-of-order sign taped crookedly. On quiet impulse, she reached into her basket, pulled out the extra box she always bought on sale, and placed 2 sheets on the narrow counter between them. No eye contact, no flourish, just there if he wanted them. He looked at the sheets, then at her. Surprise softened his features for a second. He took one, added it to his load, and closed the door. The dryer hummed to life, releasing a faint lavender scent into the steamy air. They sat in companionable quiet, the rain easing outside. Rebecca folded the rest of her laundry slowly, thoughts shifting. The breakup had left her wary of connection, convinced small gestures always came with strings. Yet here was one without. His dryer stopped first. He folded efficiently, shirts, jeans, that same gray sweater handled with care. When finished, he zipped his bags, then paused. From his pocket, he drew a small tin of homemade-looking shortbread cookies, opened it, and set 2 on a napkin beside her basket. A quiet return favor. Then he lifted his bags and stepped into the night, the bell above the door jingling softly. Rebecca stared at the cookies, golden edges crisp, still faintly warm from his pocket. She ate one slowly. Butter and vanilla melted on her tongue, simple and perfect. That night, back in her house, she left the porch light on longer than usual. The second cookie sat on a saucer by her bedside. Sleep came easier. Weeks rolled forward. The laundromat remained her Saturday routine. She bought the same brand of softener sheets, kept extras in her bag. Sometimes she noticed others struggling with heavy loads or dropped socks, and quietly helped, holding a basket steady, retrieving a stray item from the floor. One rainy evening months later, she arrived to find a woman wrestling with an overstuffed comforter. Rebecca stepped in without thinking, lifting one end to guide it into the oversized machine. The woman smiled gratefully, and later left a small tin of cookies on the counter between them. Years passed gently. Rebecca's life filled again. New friends from a pottery class, freelance writing gigs that turned steady, a small garden blooming in spring. She dated cautiously, eventually found someone who understood quiet evenings. But she never stopped the late weekend laundromat visits, even after buying her own washer. The hum grounded her. One ordinary Saturday, rain tapping the window again, she folded towels in the same corner. A man entered, early 50s now, carrying familiar mesh bags. He paused, eyes meeting hers across the room. Recognition flickered. Soft, mutual. He chose the same row as that first night. She placed 2 softener sheets on the counter. He left 2 shortbread cookies on a napkin. No words passed, none were needed. Outside, the rain eased to a drizzle, headlights reflecting in puddles. In the end, as Rebecca carried her warm laundry to the car, she paused under the awning. One quiet favor on an ordinary evening can unfold into a lifetime of gentle return. If this soft ripple of unspoken care touched a gentle place in you, consider subscribing for more stories that celebrate the beauty in ordinary moments. What's the smallest favor someone once did for you that stayed with you longest? Share below. Your quiet stories warm us all. And if that lingering cookie still feels real, let the umbrella he held a little longer shelter you in the next gentle tale.